Today marks the 3rd year anniversary since Akane Banashi started in Weekly Shonen Jump. When Chapter 1 came out on Viz's website, I took a chance and read it. Fast forward to present day, and I still find myself reading this series on a weekly basis. Now what's interesting about Akane Banashi is that it became quite a hit with readers without being a battle shonen or a rom-com. Even One Piece's creator, Ichiro Oda, is a fan of Akane Banashi and has given it a recommendation. But as successful as this series is today, instead of February 14, 2022, what if Akane Banashi started in February 14, 2009? Let's start by looking at the landscape of Shonen Jump in 2009. Putting the big three aside, the more prominent titles of the Weekly Shonen Jump lineup were series like Gintama, Reborn, Skit Dance, Toriko, and Bakuman. These were series that had already established a fanbase. Not only would Akane Banashi have to compete with these titles if it came out in 2009, it would also be up against its fellow manga that came out the same year. So popular titles like Kuroko no Basket, Beelzebub, and Medaka Box would also be trying to make a name for themselves at this time. Now looking at all these titles, most manga fans have at the very least heard of them. If Akane Banashi did indeed start in 2009, I believe it would have garnered a cult following like the rest of them. The reason I say this is because of its story. Akane Banashi is essentially a slice-of-life drama. Our protagonist, Akane Osaki, is fascinated with her father's rakugo to the point where she watches and mimics him. He takes the test for a promotion to Shinuichi, but is instead expelled by Master Isho Arakawa. This prompts Akane to become a rakugoka so she can show Isho how great her father's rakugo was. So we as readers follow Akane and get a glimpse of how things work in the rakugo world. If Akane Banashi started in 2009 with the same success it has today, then we would have been around chapter 145 by 2012. At this point in the story, Akane has graduated from Zenza to a Furatsume. Since her master fell ill, Isho Arakawa dismantled the Shiguma school and became Akane's new guardian. Presumed to have quit Rakugo, she was actually ordered by Isho to go to Europe to hone her skills. Having done so, Akane returns to Japan and shows what she's learned for the past 3 years. Looking at the time frame, Akane Banashi would have been in Weekly Shonen Jump alongside Bakuman for at least 3 years. Even after Bakuman's conclusion, Akane Banashi would have shared those pages with Food Wars from 2012 onward. These 3 manga are completely different, but what makes them similar is the fact that readers can take a peek at a real-world profession. As I mentioned earlier, Akane Banashi focuses on the world of Rakugo. Bakuman shows us the inner workings of how to make manga. Finally, Food Wars gives us a front row seat to a culinary experience. Had Akane Banashi started around this era of manga, we could have gotten more of these types of stories sooner rather than later. But this is just hopeful thinking. With the big 3 still active in 2012, I'd imagine Shonen Jump's focus would still be on battle manga. But what are your thoughts? Do you think there would be a major change if Akane Banashi started earlier? As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.